Hey, what's up everybody? This is Chris from PC Addicts, and this video we're going to be installing Microsoft's Hyper-V Server 2012 on this machine. And it's, I guess you could consider it the core version. There's not going to be any GUI at all, so once we boot it up and install it, it's just going to have a couple little command line windows here, and then we're going to manage it remotely. We can RDP into it, or we can even set up stuff like Server Manager or Hyper-V Server Manager to be able to manage this thing. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you saw this video here where I made this USB flash drive bootable, I put Microsoft's Hyper-V Server 2012 ISO on it, basically install media. So I'm going to go ahead and boot up off this thing and go ahead and get the install started. Alright, standard install stuff. I'm just going to hit next and install now. Okay, so I'm going to hit. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a custom install, because I want to do some work with these drives. You can see I have actually two drives. I have drive 0 and drive 1. Drive 0 is like probably 150 gigs, and then drive 1 is probably 240 or something. So anyways, typically what I like to do is actually delete everything that's in here. I go to drive, I click one, go to drive options, hit delete. Do the same thing here. Just kind of clean it out. Let's see, and delete. Now we got the two drives. So here's one little thing. And it's better to do it now than have to do it later. You can do it later, and you can do it in PowerShell, or you can do it in just with this part. But we need to actually allocate. See, what I'm going to be doing is installing the OS, the Hyper-V server, on the 150 gig drive, and then for the 232 gig or 235 gig, or whatever, that's where I'm going to be storing all my VMs. So for this one, for the VMs, what I need to do is I need to actually click on New, and I'm just going to hit Apply, and there we go. We just basically set the volume up, and there's a partition on it and everything. That way Windows will see it later, and we don't have to screw with it later. But alright, so I'm going to click on the drive that we want to install it on. And this is just pretty much standard Windows installation stuff. Nothing new here. We'll let this roll and come back when it's done. And with installing it off this thing, it really only took probably a good 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, if that, to get to this point. If you're interested in seeing on the specs on this machine that I'm running this on, because this is going to be kind of the foundation of a lot of future videos that are going to be coming out. I'm going to be putting all the virtual machines on this thing, and but if you want to see the specs of this machine, check out this video here where Junior and I ran some gaming tests to test out the APU. So just the APU, no video card or anything. So anyways, okay, so the first question is you must set your password. Okay, so I'm going to set up a password. Let's do I'll probably be showing that password later, so okay, and this is basically the screen you see once you're done too. So there's a few things I want to configure. Actually, there's quite a bit I want to configure here before we're going to sit down on the other computer and remote into this thing to start installing VMs. But so the first thing I like to do is number one, domain/work group. I don't have a domain here at home anymore, so I kind of slim things down. So what I want to do is just hit one, and I want to name a work group. So I'm going to hit W for work group, and let's just name something like, well, the cat's making a lot of noise, so let's name it cat. Yeah, I don't know. Don't ask why, I just did. So, alright, welcome to the cat group. So now let's do number two. We're going to do computer name. Let's give this thing a name. We're going to call it just VM Server 1, because I may do another one or something. So this computer name is now VM Server 1. You must restart, make changes. I'm going to go ahead and restart. I know a lot of people don't. They'll hit no and then just keep making configuration changes, but the restarts are pretty quick on this thing, so I'd rather just do it by the book here and one at a time. Okay, and this is actually the default login screen here that, if this is a headless box or it's sitting back somewhere and somebody has a monitor plugged into it, this is what you're going to see. So we're going to log in. And we're ready. So, alright, the next thing we're going to do, let's skip down to number 8 where we're going to set our network settings. By default, it's set up for DHCP. Obviously, for servers, I like them set statically, and I think a lot of you guys do too. So I'm going to hit number 8 for network. Available network, it actually got an address, so we know network cards working and everything. So we're going to select an adapter. If you have more than one card, you can choose, but ours is index number 11. So our next thing is going to be, let's set the network address. So we're just going to give this thing, wants to know if it's DHCP or static, hit S for static. Enter static IP address. We're going to do 10.2.0.15. I know that's available. Subnet mask, we're going to do class C, so 255.255.255.0. And the default gateway is going to be my router, 10.2.0.1, so I can get out on the internet. Alright, so we're done with number 1 under the network settings. Now we're going to do number 2, it's the DNS. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to give it my routers here, 10.2.0.1. And for secondary, I'll just do a public one that's out there, 8.8.8. Alright, and we're done with the network, so I'm going to return to the main menu, number 4. Now, we're back at our main menu here, so what I'm going to do now is set the date and time, which is number 9. So, because we obviously want this correct, so there's no communication errors going out to Windows updates or anything like that. And we are Central Time US, and it is 5:27 in the morning. Yep, that is the right time and date. So, okay, now after the date and time, let's go back up to number 3. We're going to add a local administrator, just so we can work off a different administrator account. You never know. It's just something I like to do. So, enter account to join local administrator group. So I'm going to name, let's name it Chris. Type a password for Chris. I'll do the same password, because I may do some things where I'm going to show that password to set something up for remote connections. So anyways, what we're going to do now is configure remote management. So we're going to do number 4. Now this is going to allow us to remotely manage this thing, so such as like RDP. So remote manage, I'm going to hit enable remote manage 1. And you can also configure it to respond to ping. So if you want to block ICMP packets or not, you can do that. I'm just going to leave it default. So now from this point forward, we can actually RDP into this thing and finish the configuration. But really, there's only a couple more configuration things I want to do here for this video. Okay, so I'm going to return to the main menu, number 4, and of course we want to update this thing and patch it, get all the hot fixes done. So we're going to do number 5, which is Windows Update Settings. This is where you're going to tell it if you want it to automatically pull them down or manual. I'm just going to hit A for auto. And it's just saying it's system will check and install updates every day at 3 a.m. It's a default setting. And so of course this one we're going to download and install some updates, which is number 6. And this is where it's going to just go through and it's going to say, do you want to search for all or just recommended? I'm going to hit all. Just get this thing fully patched up. So we're just going to let this thing run, and when it's done, we're going to be ready to RDP in this thing and do some more videos.